When things are not working out or you seem to fail, I look at it as learning opportunity, but I also look at its potential. My name is Mehmet Ozalp. I'm a professor of Islamic Studies, but my life has been a bit of ups and downs on this journey. And I was actually born in Turkey, and I've spent majority of my life in Australia. I grew up in Australia as a teenager, but I was born in Turkey. I went to primary school there and a little bit of high school as well at the same time. I lived in Ankara mainly and 3 years in Istanbul before I came to Australia. I grew up in a bit of a traditional neighborhood where houses were very close to each other, and we would always get out in the morning and play with our friends and just come back at night. So I had a very nice, happy childhood in that respect. At the same time, we were kind of a poor family. My parents were separated when I was 4 years old. So I lived with my father and a stepmother, and there were 6 children in the household from both parents, and it was a small house and one income family. My father was working in a restaurant as a baker and a cook. So we didn't, it was a poor or low income family, and we always struggled. That's what I remember in my childhood. And before I came to Australia, I moved with my auntie in Istanbul. I lived with them for 3 years. That was also very nice. I really remember that time period as a memorably going to high school, having lots of friends we were very close. Walking around Istanbul on my own within those historical buildings was a very good, very important pastime of mine. I just loved the history, the Ottoman Empire, and walking around, looking at buildings, going into mosques was really a pleasure of mine. But at the same time, we also had some economic hardship. This is 1980s. Turkey was not in a good position economically, and my aunties also had some financial problems, and there was poverty as well there. Uh, but I do remember that time period where I really blossomed as an individual. I started to come to myself on my own, and I was very good student in high school or primary school. I would always come ducks in my class and the school or year. I did teachers. My teachers always said that I had a promising future, but obviously I didn't know in what fields and how that would come about. I guess one setback is that in 2015 we were trying to establish a university campus in as part of ISRA and Center for Islamic Studies. I thought that like Charles Sturt University doesn't have a campus in Sydney, so I wanted to have a building, a very nice building that can act as a campus for Islamic studies. And we did. I did speak to the vice chancellor, and they have allocated $5 million at the time. And we also targeted a particular land that belonged to Uniting Church. It was in a very nice location. So after having done all these talks and agreements, I decided to go public and ask for a donation. So we actually did a fundraising dinner where we raised $1 million, and that we made an announcement we're going to build a university campus. I think that was a bit premature to go out like that because unfortunately the Uniting Church decided not to go ahead with the land. So all of a sudden that collapsed. So the entire project in a way stalled, and I could not deliver on that promise going to the public that we're going to establish a university campus on Islamic studies. I think that was a setback, definitely, and um, and it's very challenging because nothing worse than when you promise something and you can't deliver, even though that was not in our hands. And we could have purchased a land, but they were just too expensive, and we didn't have the money, and we didn't want to borrow using interest money. Best thing we could do was to inform the donors, and we offered them to that we can return their money as because we can't deliver on the promise. And some people took it, or some people didn't give what they promised. So we had about 300,000 left, and those funds are now will be used because the museum that we're working on can act as a campus as well. So eventually, we will deliver on that promise, inshallah. If I was to mention three things that is really important, the first one would be to be clear on our purpose. So without a purpose, we have no direction in life, and we cannot even have a vision for the future. A sense of purpose or knowing what you're meant to do in life is extremely important. Otherwise, to excel and to do great things. Otherwise, we become and lead a mediocre life. The second thing is that when we are on a journey towards our purpose, there will be opportunities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will lay along the way, and they will come and go, or a window of opportunity will come up, but they will close as well. So it's very important to seize those windows of opportunity. Like, for example, this museum project, the grant for this was only there for a couple of weeks, and we really had to decide and apply. And I said to myself, I don't think an opportunity like this will come again. And I said to my colleagues as well, let's do it. We were very busy at the time, but we spent extra hours and made a submission. And in the end, we got it. So it's going to transform the organization from that perspective. So seize any opportunity that there is in front of you. Like, there are two types of people. One type sees an opportunity and says, great, I'll take it. I don't care about the ramifications of me putting the time, going out of my way. But other people look at the opportunity and they see all the work that they have to do, all the obstacles they have to overcome, and becomes too much. They say, oh, this is just too hard, I'm not going to do it. So they never seize the opportunity. And thirdly, I would say, never underestimate what potential and what talents you may have. We really need to stretch ourselves as much as we can see and discover our limits. Or, like, for example, once I did a 5 days in a row water fasting. I know it's not Islamically, you don't do that, but I just wanted to see, was I capable of not eating anything for 5 days? I've never done it. So I did it, and it was okay, it wasn't too difficult. So that self-discovery is very important and really opens your way, because we could be limiting ourselves a lot. We put this false glass ceilings, or the society or upbringing, conditioning, family, or whatever is limiting us. It may get in the way. So that's very important for personal excellence and achieving great things in life. When things are not working out, or you seem to fail, I look at it as learning opportunity, but I also look at its potential. That first course that I did on English, only 3 people attended and 2 of them dropped out. 1 person finished. So if I saw that as a failure, I would have stopped it after that. But I said, look, I'm really learning from this. This is something new. No one's doing this. And the first one was a learning one. I was practicing, I was developing the material. Next one will be better. So the next one, I advertised it better. I had better notes prepared. I had 10 people in the second one. And it came to a point where these courses I was doing, I was getting 50, 60 people attending each time. So nothing's a failure. Everything prepares us for something else. You could say that success is about, being prepared and seizing opportunities. So if an opportunity comes in and then you never tried anything, you never failed or gained experience, how are you going to seize those opportunities? Like, we have to have some experience, some knowledge. Like, for example, when the opportunity to have an entire Islamic Studies department came up in Charles University, and I've never done anything in university, can I seize that opportunity? No. And no one's going to offer that to me in the first place. But because previously I went to Newcastle, like 3 hours journey on the train, only to give a 3-hour lecture and a tutorial and come back 3 hours. I was traveling six hours a day for 3 hours of work. And I said, look, this is something I'm learning. I'm gaining experience. You never know what's going to happen in the future. And that experience was very critical for us to establish this Charles University and for me to do a PhD later on. So we have to have some preparation, some learning, some experience, and those come with failure or without failure. But the main thing is for us not to give up and look for other opportunities that will come our way.